Alright, let's get this going. It's going to be Horror versus Younghwa, another in-house battle with Incredible Miracle. Their first map, of course, is going to be the one, the only IC Cup test bug. So without much further ado, let's get this game started. Alright, and we've got I'm Horror spawning as our red Zerg player up at the top of IC Cup test bug. His opponent down at the 3 o'clock position, or well, maybe like the 3:30 position, I guess it could be, if you want to be really technical about it, is the blue Protoss player, I'm Younghwa. Of course, I'll never forget him again after that game against Jinro. That was a crazy game, man. If you guys haven't seen that, there was another tournament run by CSN that involved the World All-Stars versus Incredible Miracle, and Jinro played Younghwa in Metalopolis. It was about, what, an hour-long game almost?
Yeah, it was almost an hour long. We saw nukes, we saw motherships, battle cruisers. It was
Mass
insane.
recall.
And it wasn't a joke game either. They weren't just making stuff to make it. It actually made sense. They all affected the gameplay. It was a lot of back and forth. One player was ahead, then the other player took the lead, and it switched back. It was very exciting. One of the best games, excitement-wise, that I've seen in a while. There were mistakes from both players, but that does lead to some of the better games that we see.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's one thing to see a perfect game where everyone plays splendidly and magnificently and you can be like, wow, those guys are good. But at the same time, it's kind of a lot of fun sometimes when the players kind of mess up and make mistakes, and you get to see some kind of really crazy games as well. I guess as a caster, you learn to value both equally, and as a viewer, I think you can definitely value the ones that end up being more entertaining rather than just kind of a great display of skill. Looks like we do have some drone on probe action. That drone really wants to become a building, but the drone won't let him. There's a pylon going down, and the drone is going to need to wait for a little bit longer to fulfill his destiny, becoming an inanimate object.
Yeah, and if you notice the money very closely, when he was sending out, he never actually had enough to build a hatchery, so it was never the original plan to do that. He was just trying to lure the probe out of his base so he could put up the spawning pool and the extractor without the Protoss knowing immediately what was going on. It forces one extra pylon to go up with the cancel. 25 minerals, not huge, but at this stage in the game it does affect a little bit of the timings. And then he is able to go back, set up the tech that he needs to. Once he gets the Zerglings, then he goes and takes the expansion later.
Yeah, very, very smart move by Horror there at the start of this game. In the meantime, we do have a Forge Fast Expand going for our Protoss player, Younghwa, although it looks like Horror will scout it right away, and he may decide to go all in. In fact, he has not yet put down his hatchery. That's a little bit late for the hatchery timing for a Zerg player.
Yeah, that's very true, and he is getting speed. He is getting a Roach Warren up before the hatchery, so it does signal that he is going to try to put on some aggression early on. Unfortunately for these rocks, it's actually aggression towards them first.
Yep, those rocks, of course. They can't defend themselves. They're just rocks.
And on IC Cup Test Bug, these rocks are actually defending a Zelnaga tower, so you do need to destroy them before you can get vision of that area of the map. There's a lot of interesting